as the Western Suburbs Gold Star Magpies go out for their own grand final. They've got to win 2 of their last 3 to have any hope of making the quarterfinals. This is called the survival for the final. Western Suburbs in front of their home crowd. There's their card. Leeds, Willis, Lang, Pearson, McGuinness. That's Kevin McGuinness. Willis, Newton, the new boy. Langmack, Kennedy, Dunn, Dooley, Georgalis and Howard. Tommy Raudonikis, he will have them pumped right up. A couple of them will need no pumping. And that's the youngster, wearing the 7, up against one of the most famous Magpies, Jason Taylor. What an awesome debut in first grade for Willie Newton. Andrew Willis alongside him in the 6, not with a lot of first grade kilometres in his legs either. Now the Bears. They can't afford to lose because they could easily fall from grace in the top 4. More importantly, they've got a chance to go to number 3. If they keep winning and Sydney City stays on the toboggan. Sears, Dallas, Icon, Caruana, Hall, Butner, Taylor, Moore, Fairley, Florimo. Second row for Florimo again tonight. Pomeroy into the side. Soden, Larson, and Peter Louis the coach. And Paul McBlain is the referee. He blows time on. And the Magpies, they've got to win this one. They're into it now, running left to right. And a great gap up the middle emphasises some over-enthusiasm from Western Suburbs. And young Newton made the tackle on the tearaway Soden. Taylor then gets it across for Fairley. And Fairley is met by Brandon Pearson and a penalty within kicking distance for Taylor.
Well, what a start for the Bears. It just opened up for Mark Soden, and he was trying to find Brett Dallas on the right-hand wing. And if he'd have done so, it would have been the quickest try I think we've ever seen scored. He just threw a little bit of a dummy, Mark Soden, and everybody expected the ball to go to one of the bigger men. There he only half threw the dummy, and Billy Dunn swallowed it around Newton, put the step on Andrew Leeds, and Dallas was coming up quickly on the outside.
So Steve, down on the sidelines, the breeze, what's it doing? Apart from blowing.
Yeah, it's blowing from the southwest, so it will blow to the right-hand side of the upright for Jason Taylor.
So it's with Taylor?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Right behind him.
He's 36 metres out. He cut his teeth out here. Product of St Gregory's. Signed a big contract with the Bears a couple of seasons ago. And he, more than anybody, has a chance of putting the Magpies out of the quarterfinal race. And even Jason Taylor is human. He's missed it. One favour for Western Suburbs, performed by their former number 7. Feels good, the atmosphere here, as Newton starts off the 20-metre line. The breeze bringing it down on the halfway, and the Magpies surge in. Florimo underneath it. That is Pomeroy. He's in for Trindle. That's the 30-metre line just in front of him. And now they come across for Billy Moore, and Moore is pulled down by the lock forward, Paul Langmack, wearing 13. Long ball away for Taylor, and then for Fairley. Fairley met there by Billy Dunn in the 11. Andrew Willis playing in the 6 jumper tonight. They do switch them around. That's a good pass. Probably the winger David Hall was standing too flat. Now they go back for the boot of Taylor. And it's high.
He's offside, Caruana.
Well, there's the penalty. Well called, Sterlo.
Yeah, Nostrils does it again. He picked him. But no go forward there from North Sydney. They went from side to side, and really nothing doing for them, trying to get West out wide, which have got to get going forward in the middle first.
And if I was a kicker, I'd be really upset with that play from Chris Caruana. For the sake of a metre, taken off all the pressure and given the opposition 15 or 20 metres and an easy run with possession. Must stay behind the kicker and Just too enthusiastic as the Magpies now. That's their first touch of the football. And Harvey Howard, one of their better players, gets a good ball to Leeds.
Leeds with a diagonal run, ending just outside his own 40-metre line. Dooley running into the brick wall, and then the brick wall pushes him back and he loses the ball.
Oh, Lowe's got a late call for the handout from the touch judge.
Yeah, Andrew Leeds appealed for the penalty, and then the touch judge agreed with Leeds and put the message through to McBlain.
Strong defence from the back rowers.
Florimo pulling it out with the left hand, and nobody had a better view than Andrew Leeds, the complainant. They knocked the wind out of Justin Dooley. His head was really hanging down.
Justin Dooley still receiving some attention.
12 is Damien Kennedy. Georgalis, a dummy half, doing the job of Cherry Mesher. They missed him against Brisbane, I'm told, last Saturday. Weak. Kennedy now. I reckon Tommy Raudonikis would be praying for first points. Langmack. A tempting run by Langmack. Now Georgalis, and then Willis, and now Newton. Oh, he's got some confidence, the kid. 10 metres out, 5 tackles gone. Willis puts the grubber in. It'll be over the dead ball line. They're pretty shallow here. We're back for the tap at the middle of the 20-metre line. This was Willis.
Not a good kick here from Willis, going too far. He really had an opportunity to get that into the in-goal area and force another set of 6. North Sydney, they sat back and waited for him to kick the football as well.
They treated this with a grand final approach. The Bears, they came down and they motelled down here last night. This is David Fairley. And they're approaching the halfway line, crossing it now. Billy Moore with a good run. Gap closing. Taylor. Well, Taylor's away from a couple of high clutching tackles. One was Billy Dunn in the 11. Soden's boot. High. I'll tell you what, though, they're testing one of the best fullbacks in the game. The number 1 is Andrew Leeds.
And he won't drop one of those all game if they give him that much latitude. The wind just taking that too far away from the chasers, and it was an easy catch for Andrew Leeds. Positionally one of the best fullbacks in the game.
Siri Lang. Good story about Lang in the papers today as the Magpies get a penalty. Again, the offender was Chris Caruana. But while Norths were motelling it with their feet up as professional footballers, the story was about a Siri Lang packaging chickens for Ingham Brothers for 8 hours a day and then dragging himself off to play football. And if you're on Jack and Bob's payroll, you should be also getting paid pretty well.
I'd like to be getting their tips.
I'd like a smell of their wallet. This is Howard. They come down a fairly wide blindside with Justin Dooley. He was bound for the Mariners, Dooley. Now from Newton, a long pass, and Willis will run round and accept the pass from Leeds, and they put together their favourite play. 15 out from the line. Butner ended it. Siri Lang getting a running Bill Dunn. Dunn on the 5th. Now can Newton put it up? There it goes. It's high into the teeth of the breeze. It's a very good kick from the kid. The bounce favours the Magpies. Dunn, Georgalis, Lang. Lang gets a pass away. Then it's Kennedy out wide, turned in, and Andrew Willis's kick goes in, touch in goal.
Exciting play there from the Magpies. Tried everything to get through the North's defence, but pretty good defensive from the Bears, and we've got a touch judge on for some reason. North's player being called out. Kick in the end, just not good enough. But on this side of the field, we've got an injury to Kevin McGuinness, the West winger, who really went down injured for no apparent reason. There was no one around him. He looks like he's hurt his back. He put it out in some way.
So the Magpies get this penalty, and Paul Langmack not even hesitating. Kick for goal. Didn't wander across to give instructions. He just waved to them from the right of the ground. He's way over on the right, Langmack, talking there with the number 4, Brandon Pearson. Now the other McGuinness has gone on. There's Tom up in the players' box with Jason Elchin, his reserve grade coach.
Blocker West getting some good go forward from their props in Howard and Dooley.
Yeah, he's really made a difference, Harvey Howard, and Dooley coming in second. But Harvey Howard has got the ability to offload the ball, and I reckon tonight Billy Dunn's been in great form. He should handle David fairly. That's the task that Tommy Raudonikis has set him.
And that's where they have to be particularly strong in defence, on the fringe of the ruck with Fairley. Jason Taylor loves to put on a couple of moves for the big second rower, and if they are to have some success tonight, the Magpies, he's got to be met on every occasion.
Andrew leads. He knows every blade of grass on this park. He's 21 out, 9 in, looks okay, and the flags go up. The Magpies get the first points. They lead 2-0 at Campbelltown after 9.
First goal of the Magpies. Andrew leads.
Taylor restarts as we welcome you back to Monday Night Football. It hits the crossbar, comes back for Fairley, who knocks it on.
And Fairley getting frustrated there. It was an amazing thing that happened. The ball coming off the goal post from the crossbar. The quick kick-off taken, caught them unawares. They were heading back off the crossbar, and it looked like an easy pick-up for Fairley. But he's dropped it.
I know that sides like to kick to the corners because it makes it a little bit tougher for teams to get out of their own danger area. But I think you should kick for the post all the time and just hope that you get one of those every now and then.
Langmack plays it. I like the work of Dooley tonight.
Well, he was
been strong so far.
He was man of the match at Channel 9 2 games ago for them. Had a tremendous game, and he's carrying that on. Good ball there to Kennedy. Into the ruck, and
but that was bad.
Yeah.
Early tackle, and Damien Kennedy carries the football into touch. You can't do that. Andrew Willis set it up for him, but then he got on the shoulder of David Hall. And he's a strong, he doesn't look very strong probably, but David is immensely strong.
Great tackle from David Hall as well. He kept his arm wrapped around the football, so there was no chance of Kennedy releasing at all.
2-0 the Magpies. Early days. Sears up in the back line. And he's got him for a high tackle, I fancy. And it'll be Brandon Pearson, is it? Or is it Andrew Leeds? It's Leeds. Well, in fact, I think he's got them both for good measure. 12 minutes gone. 2-0 the Western Suburbs side, and it was definitely Pearson. No drama, Leeds. And the breeze gave them some very good meters for the tap to be taken by Snowden. And Nigel Roy is on in 16. Snowden to the right for Larson. And this is the first real test here for Western Suburbs. It'll end probably if they get that far off the grubbing kick of Taylor. Snowden, they're in easily. Florimo scores. How simple. Oh, that's ominous.
Yeah, but I still think it's the best play in the game, the run around. I knock up saying it, and this is why, because it is so simple. The run around, as we freeze play there, we see this Western Suburbs player has gone in. That puts all the pressure on this man, and then the gap opens up and the play continues. The man going around, Soden runs straight in between them, and the little offload to Greg Florimo. He's back out in the centres now with Nigel Roy on the field and Caruana off. But when nothing's on, every team call a run around. Bang.
But Brandon Pearson makes a mistake of just watching Soden. You've got to keep an eye on what's coming at you as well out wide and seeing how you've numbered up. And so a mistake there made by the West defence.
But the great thing about the run around is that it makes the defence make a decision. And every now and then they're going to make the wrong one, as we saw on that occasion.
5 tries for the year, 59 in his career for Greg Florimo. Well, that might take the sting right out of the Magpies. They were flying high as Jason Taylor converts the Greg Florimo try. 6 points to 2. 13th minute, and this was the try again.
And this is where Pearson has to make the decision. Does he stay out on his man, or does he come on to Soden? He stayed out, and the gap was there.
And looking at that, Pete Langmack, he came in as well.
Yeah. And with that replacement of Chris Caruana, the interchange with Nigel Roy coming on, it meant a reshuffle in the North Sydney lineup. I think David Hall has moved into the centres. Roy out onto the wing.
So the Bears now with David Fairley, 25 metres out from his own line. Taste of that try still in their memory. Well, Soden is having a great start to the game. He's been really tearing them apart. And Taylor now drives it down inside the 20-metre line. It'll find touch, will it? And Andrew Leeds watches it over the line, so a scrum will start us. 6 points to 2, loose head and feed to the black and whites.
And Chris Caruana back on for North Sydney, slotting back into his starting centre position. And you would expect North Sydney to be able to play pretty good field position. Steve Roach has pointed out it's a fairly strong breeze at their back. One thing that Western Suburbs need to do is to make sure that they stay in contact. If you can turn at half-time in front or close to the opposition, there'll be some sort of advantage. One against the feet.
Taylor fires it away to Caruana, who's back on and tackled 10 metres out. Newton looking for a quick play the ball. Billy Moore is with it. Taylor! And Taylor goes down under the tackle of Kennedy. Caruana now is a dummy half and picks off Pomeroy. Pomeroy trying to get it over the line. Magpies, 4 of them forcing him down. Watch out for Soden from dummy half. Now a penalty. I think he's indicating that none of the Magpies were actually marking up. And Taylor will take a kick at goal from right in front. You don't get him any easier than this.
A good strong charge from Pomeroy. He gained North's the penalty with some very strong work, taking 4 Western Suburbs defenders with him.
And this was the big push put on by North Sydney. They screwed the scrum, got one against the feed, a rarity in the modern game. Caruana nearly got through, and Pomeroy, you can see him. 3 players struggling with him, 4 now. Paul Langmack there not allowing him to play the football, keeping the left arm in there, and that tested the referee's patience too long.
Yeah, that penalty would have been for, as Peter said, the marker not releasing the man playing the ball. Taylor straight between the posts. No problems for Taylor. And North Sydney breezing along now. 8 points to 2 after a suspect start. 16 minutes gone in Monday Night Football. Newton starts. Now it's very early days, but I just get the impression they need to be the side that scores next, Western Suburbs. Soden. Pomeroy. Working hard. Doing some good things. Brenton Pomeroy for North Sydney. Now Fairley. Hit and spin. Matt Sears is there, but he runs back into Justin Dooley. And on the halfway line, he brings him down together with Harvey Howard. Rubbing kick will make Leeds. No, I thought he was going to have to play at the ball, but it's another scrum. Well, they just want to play the game down this end of the park. They got the kickers to do it. And look out for the big push.
about the best kicker in the game in general play is Jason Taylor. Moves this North Sydney team around beautifully, and this year with the new players and a little bit more involvement from some of the back rowers at first receiver, he's fulfilling his role even better than before. Of course, some renewed confidence for North Sydney this weekend, I'd imagine, with the two top teams being rolled, both Manly and the Roosters biting the dust.
Andrew Willis now. Down the left of the ground is Darren Willis. And this is Harvey Howard. Those blokes with two Christian names. And probably an unlikely rugby league name, as is Brenton Pomeroy. We've got Brenton Pomeroy and Harvey Howard. Newton keeping it low. Driving it down to the 10-metre line where it's carried back by Matt Sears. Ken McGuinness is on in 20 for his brother. We're not absolutely sure what happened to Kevin. Steve might be able to help us on the sidelines. Stephen, one thing West can't do is survive on enthusiasm alone.
No, that's been their problem. They look really enthusiastic, but their technique and defence has been poor, and I don't think Tommy will be very happy about it. There's 3 and 4 players going into the tackle and then allowing the offload. Just on Kevin McGuinness, a back strain for him. They're still checking in. I think he'll be all right.
Steve Roach braving the elements with quite a good crowd here at Campbelltown. I just took a quick look around the ground to realise how this crowd built up right on 7:30 really. Josh Stewart is on for the Bears.
And that's a bonus for the Bears, having Stewart back in the ranks. His first game back from a broken arm. Has taken the place of Brenton Pomeroy.
Big thanks once again to our match sponsor tonight, Optus Vision. It's only with Optus Vision that you get more expert commentary, more in-depth analysis.
Paul McBlain is the referee. And he's been, I think, doing a good job. Not just in this match, but all season. I mean, they've all got their knockers, but I do think Paul McBlain will make it. Leads on his own 20-metre line. That is Kennedy. Georgianis. They need something to happen for them, the Magpies. Langmack driven back by the Bears. Larson and Stewart. Andrew Willis. Pass over for Brandon Pearson. That's good work by David Hall. Ken McGuinness was unmarked on the outside. A penalty.
Well, it was good work until he went too long and too far in the tackle by throwing Pearson back on the ground. A little bit of space out wide. Pearson, a very strong running centre. Taken well by David Hall, but you see when Hall gets back up, he pushes him back to the ground. And every right to concede a penalty.
And throughout the West team, you'll see that Pearson is the man most likely to make a break, and they need to get the ball to him a lot more, especially get the 5'8" and halfback Willis drifting across the field and turning him back inside. That's his pet play.
Now they switch the point of the attack back to Ken McGuinness on the right of the ground. Georgianis out from dummy half and sending Justin Dooley towards the uprights. 6 points behind. Personnel going everywhere, and Howard, he makes the mistake.
It looked an interesting set play here right in front of the sticks, but it all went horribly wrong. Decoys going everywhere. I don't think Howard was supposed to get the ball here, but he got it and wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, no matter if you're a decoy runner, you've got to expect to receive the football. And there's West trying to put on a big push to try and come up with a similar play to what North Sydney were able to at the end. One against Fee Georgialis, and make sure Cooker can't get into the scrum.
Butner. Moore.
See, they're easy yards, aren't they, out of main danger area.
Soden. Stewart. The folly of scrums was never better exemplified than that previous scrum. The hooker, and I call him that rather loosely. The referee knew that he couldn't get his head into the scrum, but he didn't worry about it. If that's not a volley? I haven't seen one. Newton and Taylor combined for Taylor to drive it towards that sideline again. And he keeps finding the line in the identical part of the ground.
Well, I thought Michael Buettner should have passed the football there. The West defence was very staggered. One defender ran up very quickly at Jason Taylor, and you can see it's a 2-on-1 overlap on the outside. And the man on the outside was Brett Dallas. He'd have been running into open space. Crowd appealing for a forward pass throw in there, and Jason Taylor, cool as, caught the football and drilled it down another 30 metres.
Just thinking to myself the number of class players they have in the back line, but I'm wondering if they've actually had a touch of any value. Buettner, Eichen and Dallas. As the Magpies come up with the scrum win. This is Darren Willis. And then Brandon Pearson. Asiri Lang, 30 metres away from his own line. The Bears leading by 8-2. 25 minutes gone in the game. Western Suburbs must win tonight. Now away after Justin Dooley did the hard work. Leeds is put down about 3 metres short of halfway. Andrew Willis, well, they were standing still there. Paul Langback. He's passed back for Andrew Willis, and then they floated across. And this is Kennedy, the second rower, looking to unload on the halfway line. Tackle 5. To the left for Newton. Keeps it low, down to Matt Sears. And it's rolling over to find the sideline. Pretty much they are the tactics that North Sydney have been adopting, and Western Suburbs doing the same. He's not happy with his kick. "84 times these two clubs, foundation clubs, and Wests have the better of it narrowly. They've played a lot of draws, and at Campbelltown, North's holding it by 1, 4-3. Billy Moore. Florimo is off. Williams is on. Fairley up the centre. And he's got the Magpies for inside the 10. So North's not having as much trouble getting out of their 20-metre zone as the opposition. And of course aided by a couple of penalties. Heavy body contact in that tackle. Don't know whether you heard it on the effects microphone. I think the Bears player got up and said it didn't hurt. I think he might have said it tongue in cheek. Now Taylor.
Gee, that's a good take from Chris Caruana under pressure. I knew he can
Taylor! Taylor! Dallas! One of the Magpies is hurt, struggling to get into the line. Showed it. And away for Caruana. For Sears. Didn't get a clean ball away. Buettner's off. But the referees called it back.
A half a break made there for Matt Sears. Steve Georgalis came at him. And just as he was looking to pass the football, he knocked it loose and went forward.
Some beautiful hands from North Sydney players in this movement, as we saw Georgalis coming up with a timely tackle. The take from Caruana from the hard Jason Taylor pass was a beauty. And then Brett Dallas changed direction, and one arm brought in the Taylor pass. Looked like he might nearly score. Newton came up with an ankle tap. We still see that Western Suburbs player receiving attention. I think it's one of the back rowers.
I think it might be Dooley, is it? Yeah, well, I don't think Justin Dooley's coming back either. He's in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. Well, Pearson tries to beat them down the blind side, but he was grossly outnumbered. Ken McGuinness again working Down the blind side from the dummy half. 15 is Lakeman. And now Andrew leads in from the back. Tries to get something happening. Bill Dunn. Flung down by David Fairley. Howard. Willis. Got a pass inside for Newton. Tackle on the 20-metre line. Andrew Willis is passed to Langmack. Suspect, he backs up. He'll score. It's a try. Andrew Willis, beautiful stuff. Just worried about his original pass.
Well, they're not worried about it. Good break here. And nice to see when Newton takes this football on the inside that he decides not to pass. First time in the big time, he could have been tempted to come up with the big play, but he went for the play of the ball, and that was the right play. Paul Langmack throwing the dummy, Buettner falling for it. The tackle was low from Caruana. One of the North Sydney players tripped over, and Andrew Willis backing up on the inside after setting up the previous attacking raid, gets the 4-pointer.
Yeah, nice passage of play here by Willis. He's winning everything. Backs up Langmack on the inside. Jason Taylor, the man coming over and cover that fell over. The Magpies back into it, despite their injuries. They looked all right when they've gone wide with the football. Give us a good go forward, and they found a few holes out wide.
So the two Andrews. Andrew Willis with the try. And Andrew leads with the conversion. So that brings it back to level. We're back where we started from. 8 points all. Almost half an hour gone at Campbelltown.
Number 1, Andrew Willis. It's against the Magpies. The North Sydney Bears lock together.
Monday Night Football. Welcome back. We're coming to you from Campbelltown Sports Ground tonight, the home of the Western Suburbs Magpies. And their chances of making the top 8 receiving a boost over the weekend. And they have to win 2 of the last 3 to have a chance of making the 8.
And isn't it a surprise to see a close scoreline in a Monday night game?
Yeah. Just an incredible coincidence, the number of close ones on a Monday night. Well, looks like continuing. This is Lakeman. 14 is Capavilla. Tommy has used both his replacement forward. Newton, he doesn't lack confidence. I mean, he might be nervous on the inside, but it's not coming through. It's not showing on the exterior. Hall, 12 metres out from his line. Ken McGuinness in 20. That is Icon and Justin Dooley on that long, slow walk, aided back to the dressing rooms and I guess to the club doctor. Williams, 8 points all. Josh Stewart. Norths have got their pocket rockets on at the moment, simultaneously. Stewart and Williams. Leeds, former champion rugby union player, made the transition. Went to Parramatta, went to Penrith, but he apparently is very happy at the Magpies. We'll see out his career here. 14 is Darren Capavilla. 40 metres out from his own line. Billy Dunn comes off and Damien Kennedy goes back on. 15, Lakeman. 42 metres out from the North Sydney line. They started with a big bang in the Magpies and then Norths hit them with a bit of class. Langmack, I thought, was in front of the kick out. The number 4 wasn't. And he chances a pass. Brandon Pearson. And they're going in to touch the Bears. He's given the penalty, has he?
This is very, very close, this one. Western Suburbs players maintaining that the momentum of the tackle took Icon into touch. The last two kicks from Newton have been beauties. Icon picks it up. McGuinness coming across. Kennedy there. He's got Kennedy for coming in and pushing after the referee has claimed the tackle was completed.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the referee, even though the crowd doesn't. The first tackle was sufficient. The second tackler had one aim, and that was to push him over the sideline. Player was on the ground with the tackler on him. The referee got it right. Halfway line now. The Bears with Taylor working from the left onto the right. Georgalis hits him with a big one. Leeds now coming away from his own line. Scarcely a player onside. Now they get back. That's Darren Willis. Very quick off the mark, Darren, and he's so graceful. Lang.
It's amazing what scoring points does to your confidence. Momentum turned around now. And I've got to say there aren't enough Steve Roaches playing the game at the moment. It's great to see front rowers who can attract attention 2 and 3 at a time and offload. And Harvey Howard fits into that category. He's doing a great job for the Magpies. Really does help to have that kind of forward in your pack.
I'll turn that one Steve Roach was one too many.
Well, that's true too. He was tough to run around.
Great man, a great man.
Well, Justin Dooley looked to be in a lot of pain, Steve. What's the story?
Yes, it's a back problem too. Justin Dooley too. They hope that he can come back. They're going to give him till half time.
All right, Georgalis now working it onto the right of the ground. And that is Howard. 25 out from the north line to the right for Kennedy.
Oh, swinging arm here over the top.
Here's a chance. Here's a chance for the North. Oh, they want to go on with it. Kennedy and Stewart. Stewart got a couple on him. Mike in the middle of it, waving his arms around like a traffic cop. They'll get the penalty here, the Magpies. And that gives them a chance to go to the lead at half-time.
They really went in with a high shot. And that's what the referee was penalising originally. Stewart coming in there, the big swinging arm. Didn't look as bad in slow motion as what it did at full speed, which most of them don't. But then the Western Suburbs players, they reacted to it, weren't impressed at all. Nice little right going in on Damien Kennedy.
And another. Oh. Right across the top. So that was 3 that he got, all scoring punches.
Yeah, the last one was a beauty.
And the other bloke was on his back, holding a football.
10 minutes.
10 minutes in the bin for Josh Stewart. They'll take the shot at goal off the boot of Andrew Leeds. And the black and whites can go to the break with a 2-point lead.
And Peter Louis will be livid with that performance from Josh Stewart.
Yeah, look, I still don't know the actual front-on, just a good solid front-on shoulder tackle for mine. His arms were flailing about, I know, but they went nowhere near the bloke.
I think you're right.
It's a good solid hit. There you think.
Mind you, you don't necessarily have to attack the head with the arms. But that's what he's got him on. He's got him on attacking the head of an opposing player. What you're attacking with has probably got nothing to do with it, but I agree with you. I mean, if that tackle was illegal, we've got a few problems. What he did after that was not worth giving away 10 minutes and probably 2 points. So Josh Stewart has got to think about his discipline. 37 minutes gone. Leeds gets it. No problems for the fullback. The black and whites are in front.
Yeah, plenty of fighting spirit.
And we go to the Gold Star Magpies, kicked by number 1 Andrew Leeds for the National Solar Systems. We're in front.
What was he saying, the referee, Steve? Apparently you've got the version on it.
Yes, he sent him to the sin bin for going on with it. Wasn't the high tackle, that was the penalty, but when he went on with the fight, that's why he sent him to the sin bin.
So Georgialis. Fairley and Larson muscling him back. Lakeman. I must admit, I thought at 8 points to 2, and given the simplicity of the North Sydney try, that the Magpies were in trouble. I made the comment then that they had to be the side to score next. They've done that. Now they've got a bit of wind in their sails. And they're tacking for the quarterfinals. Newton. Sears to come away from the corner. 4 is Pearson. 15 slipped and fell. That was Lakeman.
He's gone right to halfback, hasn't he? Newton, Peter, I would think sure Tommy would like to see him open up and run a bit more in the second half, but he's handled things pretty well. Good kicking game.
Yeah, I think that'll be the case. I'm sure that Tommy's instructions when he went out there was just to do the simple things well. First and foremost, get your defence right and your kicking game, and he's done both of those. He's come up with a couple of good tackles that really needed to be. There's coming over the top there on Fairley. And as the game goes, his confidence will continue to grow. His involvement will as well.
Last tackle on this set. Possibly the last play before half-time. And they mix up their kicking game, but Leeds was positioned beautifully. Well, Andrew Leeds has put down 35 out from his own line. Lang will take a dummy half run. Matter of seconds remaining in the first half. Howard. A win tonight. We'll see the Magpies leapfrog Auckland and go into the top 8. Anxious moments for Matt Sears. He gets it back. So this set of 6 will take the Bears to the half-time break. Michael Buettner, is it? Right on half-time. And the Gold Star Magpies. They lead by 2.
And just listening to Steve Roach talk about Harvey Howard, I guess he'd be pretty happy with the conditions coming from Leeds in the north of England. And his performance in the first half has been excellent. 12 tackles, 10 hit-ups, with a lot of offloads there. And Langmack and Kennedy Dunn doing well, the back row in the tackling department. For North Sydney, Gary Larson leads the way with 17 tackles, doing a great job. And surprisingly enough, Michael Buettner is the second in that department, 10 tackles. Just showing that Western Suburbs are going wide on quite a few occasions.
So we're on the first tackle of the second half. 40 minutes of football. Western Suburbs in effect with a 2-point start. And they've got the breeze behind them, Steve. Has that breeze slackened off at all? He mightn't have the headphones on. I don't think he has. He hasn't had time to get back to his commentary chair. Kennedy. Now Langmack. 40 metres out from his own line. Dunn. Slam down. Steve, I was saying the breeze, has it slackened off or increased? What's the story?
No, it's exactly the same as the first half, so it'll be to the advantage of Western Suburbs.
So there it is. The breeze at their backs. 2 points in front. They've got to win tonight to have any hope of making the quarterfinals. One of the try scorers plays the ball like Florimo. I think I said just going into the break at halftime it was Billy Moore. It was Greg Florimo. Taylor. Now Florimo with one of the Magpies right in his face. Sears. They've got to be desperate in defence, the Magpies. They've got to be there, scrambling, in numbers. More. The Bears, of course, certain, you would think, to make the top 4. Pass has finished up with Dallas. He's had nothing to work with tonight. Great support from Caruana. Buettner behind Taylor with Larson. 6 more tackles. Penalty to the Bears.
Well, some amazing passes here to keep this movement alive. Brilliant stuff from the Bears as they went wide. And Dallas nearly got trapped on the last tackle. He wasn't going to kick it.
This is an interesting ruling against Western Suburbs. They're saying that there was an offside involved, I think, from the Magpies. The blood bin's Billy Dunn. A chance for Jason Taylor to even things up here at Campbelltown. Let's have a look here. Running it on the last Buettner. Caruana bats it on, does go backwards, so Dallas picks it up. Thought he might have kicked. He tried to beat Georgialis on the outside. Good pass back inside to Caruana, who did a great job to be there, trying being involved in the initial pass. There was the touch from Langmack. And then Willis makes the tackle. I can't see how he would call an offside on that at all. Is there anything else in it?
I think he's meaning that when it was touched by the Magpies, the bloke that made the tackle was in front of the bloke that touched it. I think he's ruled that he was offside as a result of the touch. Taylor, straight between the uprights. That's level. We are back to where we started. 10 points all. 3rd minute of the second half. Keep in mind the Bears have been with 12 men since Josh Stewart found his way to the bin at about the 35th minute. I can't believe that.
Good pass by Soden.
I can't believe that Dallas wouldn't have called Soden out of it.
How did he end up catching it?
This is Fairley now.
The old back pass.
Dallas is standing there. He's got the call. All he's got to say is leave it. But obviously they don't talk to each other.
No, Soden was calling yours.
Oh! And now Mark Soden knocks on. He started the first half in brilliant form, Mark Soden. And there was nothing wrong with what he did in trying to catch the football, but he should have been called out of it. And then the knock on. Now Newton, way for Willis, leads into the back line, and that's Pearson. 2-man tackle, roll away, says the referee. McGuinness, 25 out, 10 points all. 5 minutes gone, second half. 14 is Capavilla. Now there's a good chance for them. Howard, Georgialis and Willis. Willis goes back. Then they go across. Capavilla, Langmack, Kennedy. Kennedy's 12 metres out from the line. Langmack looks at the blind side, comes back to the open. Lakeman, 7 metres out. Last tackle. Willis. Beautifully taken by Ben Aiken, and Greg Florimo makes the run. There's support everywhere. That is Nigel Roy. He's away. He'll score. Nigel Roy scores a 90-metre try off a little kick by the Magpies.
He hasn't had a lot of luck tonight, Andrew Willis, with the kick. Got the little ones around the in-goal area. And this one straight into the arms of the North Sydney defence. Going to the right of the ruck. Just wanted to get it into the in-goal area. It's a poor kick. It was a pretty easy take from Ben Aiken. And then good support play from Florimo. Nigel Roy on the far side. Takes the ball. You thought Pearson might have picked him up, but he's got a good turn of speed. When he dived all too late. Don't forget, all of this is happening, these North Sydney points, while they're down to 12 men.
Well, the same thing happened for West against Brisbane, didn't it? And they put a kick in, yeah.
Yeah, Steve Georgialis on that occasion.
That's right, and Kevin Walters, I think, combined with Renoff to run away and score a try. And here it is now with Florimo, who has, of course, been playing mainly centre and 5'8" all of his career. He had the toe to get into open spaces, and the Roy boys away and gets in for the Bears.
Nigel Roy then scores second try of the night for the Bears. Third try of the match.
He's had a really good season for the Bears, even though he's not in the starting lineup. He was at fullback for quite a deal at the start of the season with Matt Sears out with a broken arm. And every time he's come on, he's had an impact, Nigel Roy.
Taylor, no mistakes. He might have missed the first one tonight, but he's been right on line since. This was the kick. Greg Florimo away.
Weren't they nice hands from Icon too? He's got beautiful hands on him. And somewhere down the track, Ben Icon's going to make a great 5'8", no doubt about it.
Well, I wonder whether the North Sydney Cronulla game will shell-shock the Bears into not taking a field goal. They had a similar lead against Cronulla, went for the 1 point. All of a sudden they just lost their way a little bit after establishing that 7-point break.
Ken McGuinness has come off now for the Magpies, so the second of the brothers succumbing to injury. Taylor getting the pass away. Fairley did well. Did it float forward? The touchdown said no. Now it is going to be the turnover because that went out on the full. Gee, that was very much a case of, I think, 2 forward passes back to back. Nigel Roy, and then the kick off the boot of Ben Ikin went out on the full. So we come back to this situation with Damien Kennedy tackle on his own 40-metre line. Billy Dunn is back from the blood bin. So what was looking nice for the Magpies, a 2-point lead. They're down again by 6. Leeds chiming in down the right side. He's got to come into that back line as much as possible, Andrew Leeds. They need him up there. Dunn. This is the last. Newton. Everybody onside. High kick. Plenty of time to chase. Oh, he got it back down. Back for Georgialis.
Yeah, they got it back, but it went forward. Good kick by Newton, and he put the chase on him. Kept them going, and they're all onside. Then he went for the leap, but it goes forward off his hands.
Down to Kennedy it was. Georgialis lurking in behind the play. But here's the Bears now. 15 metres away from their own line. And that is Billy Moore. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Gary Larson.
And the sin bin player is back. It's in the form of Brenton Pomeroy. They decided not to put Stewart back into the action. So the big front rower there is Jason Taylor. Pulls it down, doesn't pick up a lot of distance. Bouncing ball, difficult one for Andrew Lees. And he picks it up 22 out from his own line.
And Siri Lang. Put away just outside his 30-metre line. Friday night we go to Canberra for Canberra versus Auckland. We might even take Blocker with us if he's thawed out. We'll freeze him a second time. So it's very dangerous to defrost meat and then freeze it again.
Especially that size.
That's right.
As long as you don't hook me on a hook, mate, I'll be happy.
Georgialis and Newton. Langmack. Then a cutout pass. Pearson. Brandon Pearson. Coming back to the support. Darren Willis. 10 metres out from the line. 5 tackles gone. Pearson. They come on the blind side. Langmack and Siri Lang. Does he get it down? I think he might be going to give this. He's given it. It's a try to the Maggie.
Well, I don't know. I've got my doubts. Anyway, but it's all down to Brandon Pearson. What a beautiful runner of the football he is. He hits the gap strong and hard, goes through, then he comes looking for support. And he finds it out here. The North's defence, it's scrambling, it gets back there. And they're always short down this side. The defence actually never got back on side. Langmack takes the chance. Okay, now here he goes on the outside, steps back inside Dallas. Does he get it down?
Gets it down, all right.
Yeah, okay.
It's good
Good as
try.
goal.
And the run of Brandon Pearson was a great one because he came back at the angle. Saw him go through, and Nasiri Lang does a marvellous job here. Brett Dallas, one-on-one. Nasiri Lang very strong, gets the ball down, no problem at all.
Yes, he does. Paul's sitting here saying he didn't ground the ball. There's a part of the ball on the ground. What are you talking about?
Well, he got it down early and then...
What he wanted to pull the bladder out and put the bladder on the ground as well. Have a look at the scoreboard anyway.
And Paul Langmack.
Let go of that silver tail fibro thing. Let it go. Here they are, the black and whites from the sideline. 21 metres out. Leeds has got this. Oh, it's hit the crossbar and failed to make the distance.
Yeah, you pulled him up, Brad.
Oh, I've put the hex on him. 52 minutes gone, the Bears by 2. Fetting have stopped Kingston Town. Back at Campbell's. And Taylor's restarts. Harvey Howard, he takes it up strong and hard. And Andrew Leeds had a chance to bring them level. Breeze with him. And look at this.
I'd just like to say hello to our good mate Malcolm Johnson. Kingston Town. You and Rabbie.
Well, Billy Keto, one of the old Magpies, who took ill last night. He's in Sydney's Adventist Hospital. Bill, one of the great players and former secretary of the Magpies. Bill, if you're feeling a bit off colour, I bet you feel worse now. Anyway, we're thinking of you, old fellow, and good luck. Newton now. Sears. Matt Sears out to the 20.
It's been the other good thing about Willie Newton's kicking game is every time he's put one down, he has scampered down as quickly as possible to make sure he puts everybody on side.
How long before one of us calls him Nelson?
What do you mean, Nelson Newton?
We had Rod Stewart playing on the wing once for Illawarra, didn't we?
Good strong defence here from Western Suburbs, forced the mistake. The big back line set to the left for the Magpies. Means they'll go to the right or they'll just run the football themselves. They pick up Willis from the scrum win.
Andrew there. Across looking for the flat run. North's read it well. Andrew Leeds plays it. Kennedy. Strong. Georgialis only a matter of a metre away. Willis. Newton. Langmack. Cuts out. Pearson. 2 metres from the line. This is Lakeman. Oh. Not backwards. Newton. Tries to put a fend on Soden. 5 tackles. And cut out the big front rower. Willis. And Butner did well. This is Larson. Crowd, I think they feel that Butner knocked on.
Yeah, they were calling for the knock on, the crowd.
That's the 20-metre line. They're crossing now. Moore, Pomrey. Be careful. Is that McGuinness back on? Yeah, Kevin McGuinness is back on. And now one of the Bears.
Yeah, they need a little bit of time just to reform here. North Sydney.
Dallas.
This doesn't look too well there. What happened, Block?
Well, Harvey Howard has got him second man over the top with a high tackle. What's this?
Yeah. Well, Brett Dallas has certainly taken a high shot from the front rower, and he was very, very groggy. He still is. Remarkably, nothing has been said by anybody. I must say, I missed it on the first shot, so it's hard to be critical, but I wonder, will it be cited by the North Sydney Bears, reported by them in the hours to come. He's a player that they would need in the quarterfinals. Howard. Soden's kick. And on the bring back is Leeds. He goes back to go forward. And across for Lang. Lang pulled down by Billy Moore and Jason Taylor. They're keen, the Magpies, but they haven't got any space in their attack. You could put a handkerchief across them at the moment. They all want to take it up first man. Harvey Howard. Georgialis has done the number 9's job well. Done. 2 points the difference. North Sydney holding it. Langmack. And Lakeman leaves it. For a moment we were going to have a try against the run of play again for the Bears. Nigel Roy. Halfway line. Disappearing as Josh Stewart puts the big fin up in the face of Damien Kennedy. Taylor, face pass for Fairley. Taylor. Newton. Sears puts his foot down. They're going for the corner. And in goes Talawana. Chris Talawana scores. And the Bears stamp their authority to lead by 6 now.
And that shows the potency of this North Sydney back line. Michael Buettner finally deciding to run, taking on the defence. He takes it. He frees played there. You can see that he stepped back inside, and a lot of width in between him and the inside defensive player for Western Suburbs, that being Damien Kennedy. Matty Sears flying up on the outside. He had a choice. He could have gone wide to the winger. Instead, Caruana back on the inside. Too much pace for Newton to score wide out.
I think he's one of the most improved players in the competition in the Optus Cup of '96, Michael Buettner. Since coming from Para, he's really gained a lot more confidence, got some good outside backs to work with, and that gives you confidence, knowing they'll finish off what you start. Matty Sears and Chris Caruana do exactly that.
What I really like about the North Sydney side is their coolness under pressure. Just that simple shot there we saw of Matt Sears summing up the situation. He could have thrown the more dangerous pass out wide to the winger, but he just opted for the inside ball, did it so nicely. Buettner, he just straightened himself up, got the good ball away to Matt Sears. It was just done very simply, but with such effectiveness.
Taylor will go past the 200 before the end of the competition. This is for 189. 22 out. Just a metre in, as you can see. There it comes, but it won't come back. But it's a 6-point margin. They're in the comfort zone almost. And you know what they'll be doing next time they visit the Western Suburbs red zone. He's a good player, this kid. I keep rapping him, and no reason to withdraw any of my comments. He's a versatile player, wonderful utility player.
I guess that's counted against him in the past, Ray, is the fact that he can cover so many positions. We've seen him hooker, lock forward. He really wants to establish himself in the centres, the starting centre.
Fairly. "30 metres away from their own line now. And that's Billy Moore refusing to go down. Quick play the ball. The backs chime in. Florimo is the carrier. Now the last. Soden. He kicks looking for Dallas and Caruana. The bounce important. And Darren Willis's speed helped him to get back and clean it up. Lang. 20 points to 40.
There's some ordinary signs there for the West defence. In 6 tackles, the Bears went 90 metres with little or no resistance, so they're starting to tie the Magpies.
Reserve grade tonight went to the North Sydney side. They won convincingly. As the Magpies go over the sideline, this is going to give North another chance. Kevin McGuinness taking it across the sideline under the tackle of Nigel Roy. And now Greg Florimo is coming off and going back on. Or going on for the first time, in fact, I think, is it Craig Wilson?
Yes, it's his first start in this game, and he's taken the place of the man I think has been their best player, Greg Florimo. So much work, and they've needed somebody to come in and take the tough yards. He's done that as well, was involved in the length of the field try. And a great game for him tonight.
Has he got a problem with his wrist or arm? Greg Florimo, can we check that, Steve?
Oh, good ball.
Here they come again now, they're put down. Ball lost. Magpies with it. McGuinness.
And it was Buettner taking on the defence that caused the problem. Pass wasn't taken in the force of the tackle. Now Billy Dunn, centre field, driven sideways.
They're working on Florimo's arm down on the bench. Don't tell me they've got a serious injury to one of their stars. Howard.
I don't think it's too serious, Ray. They're just wrapping it up now with sticking plaster. No concern. There's a problem. Newton losing the football.
Penalty goes to the Magpies. 35 metres out from the line. The question is, did Willie Newton lose it, or did it get some help? And they're going to kick for goal.
Newton takes them on. And it was helped on its way by Buettner. Still, it comes back to the ball security. Not much there. There's Florimo. I agree with Snorkel. He's been their best Florimo. He's taken it forward. He's done the hard yards. He's made plenty of tackles.
What's the story on Greg, Steve?
He's only got a corked arm. I'm sure we'll see him back before the end of this match.
Like wearing camouflage next to him. We're not going to get attacked from the air, are we? Be careful, Steve. There could be an aerial attack. There's a man in camouflage sitting on the bench.
I'll throw Bossy in first in front of me. He's a brave man.
Yeah, there's not a great deal of bravery when it comes to the trenches in this team. Leads now. He has hooked it, but it's there. So Andrew brings it back by 2. 64th minute, Tom goes for another ciggy. 2016 the score. Taylor restarts as we welcome you back.
I wish I could hook it that well.
An interesting replacement here from Western Suburbs. Paul Bell coming into the fray for Harvey Howard. Back in for a front row forward. There's Bell on screen.
Dunn. Billy Dunn brought down 35 out from his line. Monday Night Football is living up to its reputation of closeness. Close encounters of a Monday kind. Just keeps coming back. Newton's kick. Dallas turns around. Sears has touched it with a foot over the sideline. Now this is interesting because he in fact is out of the field of play. This is an interesting one. With a foot out, he's out. Or is he? No, his foot wasn't out when he touched it. Let me tell you what I'm trying to say. Had one of his feet been over the sideline and he touched the ball, it would be a North Sydney loose head and feed. As it is, he was in the field of play, and the Magpies, they get it. They've got a chance, the black and whites. Pearson is tackled. 8 metres out from the Bears line. To the right, they stack it up. Kennedy burrowing for the line.
Langmack's moved to the left-hand side, the short line side, looking to attack there once again, but they go wide through Newton and Willis.
Willis bringing down a high pass, gets his arms free. Newton slips over. 5 metres out in front of the uprights. Georgialis for Langmack. Infield for Pearson. He slams it down. It is a try. Scored by Brandon Pearson. The Magpies have come back.
And with the success of Andrew Leeds kicking the penalty goal moments ago, they can take the lead here. Very soft from North Sydney. No intensity to get off their line. Paul Langmack takes it to within 3 metres, and then Brandon Pearson at speed really had no trouble getting through. They didn't rush out at all to meet the men.
Oh, let's give Pearson some credit. He's unstoppable close to the line like this. He's going to be a very good player in the years to come. He's a good player now. He'll only get better.
About the calmness of Paul Langmack, though. Just let them do their thing, and then he said, right, I want it. And then he just politely popped it onto the chest of the running Brandon Pearson.
It was well set up by Western Suburbs, but I still maintain that, in that area of the field, you've got to be rushing out and meeting the attack as soon as possible, and they allowed the Western Suburbs players to unfold their play, and it was too late with Pearson at speed.
Leeds, he converts, high and handsome. These Magpie fans that have braved the coldness, they're loving it. 22-20. Cool and collected Langmack for the rampaging Brandon Pearson.
And if Greg Florimo's been the best for North, I think Pearson, especially with his performance in the second half, has just about emerged for that, or as that, for Western Suburbs. Paul pointed out earlier, he's their most dangerous attacking weapon. And he's lifted this side with a couple of runs.
Billy Dunn. And Georgialis. Kennedy. Fairly takes him side on. Caruana over the top. Georgialis away for Langmack.
He's been very good as well, Paul Langmack.
Paul Bell in 21. Newton. Tell you what, for a debut performance, he's done well. Ooh. Dallas is under a heavy tackle. They can't make mistakes here, the Bears. Look at the black and white numbers, waiting to make the tackle. Off their own line they come. David Hall. 2 points the difference. 10 minutes to go. Western Suburbs in front. Larson goes back on. David Fairley tries to batter a hole through them. Taylor leads with a long run. Watching it. And allows the scrum.
A good play from North Sydney. They've just got to try and hope that West make a mistake now. That's their big hope. Keep them trapped in their own territory and try and find a mistake somewhere. But Western performance in the second half has been very good.
I don't know what it is about Western Suburbs, Paul. I think there must be a bit of Western Suburbs in all of us, you know. You'll find yourself with that little bit of that underdog appeal that they've got. No matter what the situation, you've always got that little bit of compassion for the team that wears the black and white. Leeds. He's a marvel, this man really is, and he's got that serious throat problem that he's carried for some time. It hasn't dented his enthusiasm.
And you mentioned the clubs he played at, and he played very good football at all of them. Parramatta and Penrith, there's a mistake made by Pearson. The pass did put a lot of pressure on him. And over the last month, North Sydney have had a little bit of trouble getting home in the close matches. Of course, they had 2 draws in a row. And fella in Newcastle. Did win a close one against Parramatta just before that. They have got time to pull this one out.
The Bears aren't going to get too many better opportunities than the one they're with now. Penalty goes against the Magpies. 2 points the difference. Taylor's in the side. They opt to go away from Taylor and take the kick for line. Or was it a differential? Outside in the back line at the scrum, differential, Peter, thank you. Now, Florimo. 10 metres out. Another great opportunity for the Bears. Oh, good tackle by Andrew Willis. Ben Ikin slowly up. Soden. And away from Florimo. For Taylor. Nail. Now they've come out of the line. That's Sears. Away it goes. Caruana for Dallas. Oh, they've stopped him. Inches from the line, Andrew Lee.
Oh, yeah, great defence by the Magpies. Norths went wide. There was plenty of room back on the inside, but they couldn't find it. Dallas, I thought he's going to come back inside, but he took the odds to it. And look at them, Clubber Lang has a go. And then Leeds gets him.
Well, the pass from Jason Taylor got Matt Sears outside his man, but just a little bit of delay in getting the ball across to Chris Caruana. That allowed the Western Suburbs cover to come over. Lang missed. Andrew Leeds and Brett Dallas. I'm quite sure what that means. A little bit to say for over the sideline.
6.5 minutes to go. The Magpies got to play an orthodox set of 6. Get the ball down the other end. If they're to hold on, but hang on a moment.
It's a penalty against David Fairley for putting his hands between the legs of the player he was tackling. I think it's Damien Kennedy down on the ground. He's not too well either, Kennedy.
Well, there it is. Hand in the crotch and lifting.
Steve Georgialis, have a look at him there. I'm not sure if this shot will show him up. Here he comes. I think he's helping the referee. I'm just not quite sure in which way.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you're invited to join all the West players in the marquee at the back of the Leeds Club for the presentation after the game.
Would have been nice if Paul McLean took it the wrong way.
Get that up here.
9-7 the penalties in favour of the Magpies. McGuinness. 5.5 minutes. Done. They appeal for another penalty. 14 is Capavilla. 40 metres out. Centre ground. Howard. Georgiana sweeps it right. 21 is Paul Bell. Moore and Taylor make the tackle. The last, Newton. Got his kick in. Batted back by the Magpies for Fairley. Sears. Taylor. Florimo. Moore's on his outside. 11 metres from halfway. A little over 4 minutes to go. The Magpies by 2. The Bears, a lot of tackles required. Sears running off Soden, getting it back for Taylor. Taylor flicks it out the back. Wilson, 30 metres away from the line. Taylor, Florimo, Sears, 25 out. This is the last Oh, they've given a penalty on the last. Well, you can't believe it.
Tommy off the chair. Jason Elchin can't believe it in the background, and Jason Taylor. Chance here to snatch maybe another draw for his side. It'll be 3 in the space of 5 weeks. That Sears did well to take that one. Andrew Willis trying to roll him onto his back. Pushed him over.
Against all goal kickers on the last tackle, 25 metres out. And the Magpies with a 2-point lead. Are they about to lose that lead?
It's not an easy kick, this one.
To a drawn situation. Taylor, leading point scorer, strikes it, keeps it low. The flags are up, and the Bears are level at 22-22. 3 minutes to go. Now, it's only a question of who can get down the other end and set up a shot. It'll probably come down to the team that makes the first mistake. If either of them, in fact, get a shot at goal. Don't forget Taylor. He will be tempted to take one from long range, but he is kicking into the breeze. The Magpie player to watch is probably Andrew Willis. And Andrew Leeds will be his backup. This is Wilson. Last tackle now for North. Taylor thinks about it. He takes the shot, but it's well short. Leeds now carries it back. 25 metres out from his own line.
A swinging arm there too from Craig Wilson connected. Siri Lang out of dummy half, taken low by Caruana, over the top by Soden.
1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock. 22-22. Capavilla. Driven down. Georgianis. Langmack. Floating it across for Pearson.
We just heard from the sideline that Willie Newton has kicked 2 field goals in the last 2 weeks. Don't know whether he'll get close enough. It's a reserve grade, of course. Here he is taking the ball into the opponent's half on the last tackle.
Well, that's the 5th tackle gone. Now Willis takes the shot. It's got the leak, has it? No, I think it fell under the crossbar. No, he's given it. He's given the point to Andrew Willis. So the Western Suburbs Magpies have grabbed success. In the final seconds, the coach's box, the fans on the hill, and the kickoff hasn't gone 10. Penalty to the Western Suburbs side, centre of the ground.
Well, unbelievable. How often in this competition are we going to see close games with field goals featuring so prominently? It's over all right. That's Sears telling the adjudicator in the in-goal area, no, that's not over. The Maggies know that's the case as Bell takes the last tackle.
There's the siren, it is all over. What a finish, what a thriller. 23-22 with Andrew Willis kicking a drop goal with 30 seconds to go from at least 40 metres out. A goal that really you had to look at a couple of times to wonder whether it had made the bar. And of course Paul McBlain, he had the decision to make. The replay says it was over. 23-22, and the scenes at Campbelltown, thousands of children running onto the ground, feeling that maybe, just maybe, their heroes have made the quarterfinals. Putting down Tommy, you don't know where he's been, but there is the coach, absolutely ecstatic, one of the most favourite of rugby league sons. Marvellous scenes at Campbelltown, 23-22. Let's see it. Andrew Willis 30 seconds from time, 48 metres out. The breeze was pushing it, and so were 15,000 fans here as it clears the bar. I had my doubts on it. Andrew had no doubts about it. Neither did North Sydney's Jason Taylor.
He knew, so did Gary Larson.
Beautiful scenes from Rugby League's battlers. The Magpies have pulled off an incredible...